Hello and welcome to Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. And today, the subject of my Coaching Corner is the quotation or the saying, may you live in interesting times. And what to do if those interesting times get just emotionally exhausting. So I don't know whether you all remember that saying. I've seen various origins, whether it's an old Chinese saying or what. I can't really find where it actually came from. But that saying, "May you live in interesting times," is like, okay, have an interesting life, an exciting life, with all the ups and downs. Well, I really think we've been living in interesting times these past 6-7 years. Permacrisis, the pandemic, Brexit. Most recently, war in the Ukraine, the cost of living crisis. We just had a change in the UK Prime Minister, and obviously the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. With all of that can come worry, stress, change, sorrow. So the thing about interesting times is that they can just be emotionally exhausting. And, we can plow on one foot in front of the other, getting through the day, because we have to pay the bills, we have to put food on the table and so on. But, at what personal cost? I'm really noticing a lot more mention of people feeling worn out, close to burnout, if not already burnt out, and just emotionally drained. So what to do if this is you? First up, I think just stop and notice how you are doing. Just try and take a step off the hamster wheel. So often in life, we're just going like this, that we never even just take a moment just to pause and process what is going on inside. So that's my first thing, is just pause and process what is going on. We get so wrapped up in our thoughts, I think, that we forget that we're not just a head. We have a body or a spirit, whatever you want to call it, too. So one of my techniques is just to stop and ask yourself these 3 questions. What word would I use to describe my mind? How is my mind? What word would I use to describe my body, how my body is feeling right now? And what word would I use to describe how my spirit is feeling? So how is my mind? How is my body? How is my spirit? And what's interesting is that you may end up with 3 very different answers. It might be my mind is racing, my body is stiff and tense, my spirit is low. So, we are the thing about, I study a lot of yoga, and yoga is supposed to be the union of body, mind, and spirit. So when all 3 are working together and in alignment. So if you do find yourself very, very out of alignment or with very different words or descriptions, then ask yourself, what does my mind need? What does my body need? What does my spirit need? So, if you are sort of feeling emotionally exhausted and somewhat burnt out, then you're very, very likely to need rest. And I know that resting for most driven overachievers is very, very difficult. From my own perspective, resting and relaxing has often felt like an achievement in itself. It's like, okay, how am I going to relax? What do I do? It becomes another thing on the to-do list. So I realized that for a lot of people, it's actually very difficult. They associate it with being lazy or unproductive. But when we are exhausted, that is what we need. We need to rest. And this summer, I really needed to rest. I'd been going at a heck of a pace for a long, long time. And I just realized I really needed to down tools and rest. And at first it was hard because I was really out of practice. But soon my favorite things, became things like just going out on a walk with my dogs. And instead of thinking, right, well, I've got to come back with 5 ideas or whatever, just instead of that, just observing them play and all the funny things that they do. Or another favorite became sitting under trees on a breezy day and listening to the sound of the wind through the leaves. Other things, including listening to a good mystery or a good sort of like a good book on Audible, and watching lots of fun stuff on TV, like Only Murders in the Building. Simple stuff, but it was really, really needed for me. So what are your things? What are your things? If you're emotionally exhausted, what do you need? What does your mind need? What does your body need? What does your spirit need? So I urge you, my friends, to look after yourselves in these interesting times and get what you need. Make space for what you need to thrive. Remember to be fearlessly you, and that includes resting fearlessly when you need to. Okay, take care, and I will see you again.